Welcome back, subscribers and possibly new viewers. I want to, first of all, thank everyone that's been here and still reaching out to me in regards to reviewing resumes and possibly even new people who are transitioning over to cybersecurity from another profession. I've noticed that the growth of this channel has been coming from people who are new, beginners, straight out of school, or even people who have a long, extensive history in another profession that wants to transition over to cybersecurity. Why you want to do that is beyond me. I'm just kidding, guys. Cybersecurity is pretty diverse. It has a lot of different avenues, and when I say avenues, it's a lot of different paths that you can take. You have your, paper pushing, to your ethical hacking, to your blue team SOC defender. It's almost like a video game, right? You can be the bad guy or the good guy in a sense where it comes from different approaches, not necessarily a totally bad guy in like the real world where you're trying to steal money. You're trying to mimic or understand how a lot of those people operate, or at least think like one, and then you can react on it the same way other professionals would do, whether it's like probably I would say more in law enforcement. All right, they try to think like the criminal, or at least go about the ways that they would do certain things, and you can understand it more because that's the only way you could figure out how to resolve it, right? So the point of this was, there are great times. I kind of sit here most of my days and I'm trying to figure out like, okay, I need to study on this. I want to get this certification. I want to do this. I want to do that. But then at the same time, it takes me away from a lot of other things, right? Spending time, having fun, going out. And so where do you draw the line, right? There's a fine line between, being great at what you do as a professional, especially in your career, but also like when do you find time to enjoy the better things in life? When do you get to go out and hang out and do all these other things? If you have a family, spend time with them, or or call your friends out on a random Friday night or a weekend and say, hey, well, let's just do whatever it is that we go to the casino, for instance, right? Uh, Not saying to advocate gambling, but just to go hang out or something like that. I know as you get older, there's more responsibilities. There's more things that you prefer to do and not do. So my point is that I've been going through a point in time now where I go to work, I come home, and I go to work, I come home. It's obviously redundant, right? And this is not just for cybersecurity; it goes for a lot of professions. And some of you may be working from home full time, which I have done myself. And not to say that I'm going into the office every single day. I do have a hybrid system where I am working 2 days a week at home, which is great. But at the same time, when I do travel into the office between commute times and sitting in a freezing office where, it's 75, 80 degrees outside, I'm still wearing a hoodie inside because I can't regulate or control the temperature in there. Like it's hard. It's harder for me. This is not a video about why is it better to work from home or work in the office. It's more of how do you balance your your lifestyle between wanting to do certain things, and sitting there in the office, or whether even sitting at home and you're doing your work. Is this the life you want, right? And when I say that, it's not like every day there's going to be an incident or you're going to be called at 3 or 4 in the morning to address something. Although this position is one of those, right? On top of being possibly an emergency doctor, or somewhere along the lines of having to be called because of a certain situation at a certain time. Um, Not all professions do that, right? I don't think accountants or bookkeeping needs to be that focused on time. But overall, I wanted to just share with you guys that, as you get older, and of course, I did a video that, I'm 47 years old and still doing this. And obviously, there are viewers here that are older than me. I seem like I'm just rambling on, but at the same time, I'm just trying to figure out, this is not scripted. So I'm just trying to figure out the words to choose to express how I'm feeling right now. I'm still studying. I still want these certifications, but at the same time, I I'm sitting through, no, not negative personal situations, but seeing people come and go. And when I say that is like, when people get older, I watched a few videos that were asking, people who were in their 80s or 70s, or even later in their life, asking them what was the biggest regret they ever had, right? Or what was the one thing that they possibly wanted to do more of or change before, wishing that they did before reaching the age that they did, that they are, like in the 80s or 90s or whatever it is. And it was more like, enjoying time, spending time with the family, going out, right? And this one thing stood out the most to me, and I'll end this here, is that there was an older gentleman, and the question was asked to him, and it was like, what was the biggest thing that ever happened in your life that you thought that was a regret, but then it turned out not to be, right? And the older gentleman was like, well, when you were younger and working and cautious of money, you tend not to spend it on, ridiculous things, right? So there was one time him, the older gentleman, and his wife was debating to either spend, let's just say, I think it was like $1,000 on a couch, right, to buy a couch, and to replace their existing couch, or take that $1,000 and go on vacation. Now, obviously he made it really, like, enjoyable. It was humorous at the time, like when he was explaining it. But ultimately, he said, they came to a compromise because the wife wanted to go to the vacation that they went on the vacation. They took the $1,000 and they went on vacation. And he said, after the vacation, coming back, maybe 6 months later, he bought a couch. Same amount of money, right? But at the time, it was like, oh, couch or vacation. So obviously, the wife won and they went on vacation. And the most interesting thing that he said to me was, not said to me, but said to the video, was that, um, you know, it happened so many years ago. That vacation never left his mind, meaning they both remembered it. He still remembers it, and it was the best time of their life. Um, for $1,000, whatever the cost was. But at the same time, they purchased that couch, that same couch that they were debating over, vacation or couch, and they bought it 6 months later. And because it's been so many years later, he even said he doesn't remember the color. He doesn't remember anything significant about that couch besides the fact that it was just a couch, right? So, the point was, after watching that, I started to realize, like, all right, that's great. You have all these certifications. You take your CISSP, you take the OSCP, you take whatever CEH and CISM and all these certifications. You can study your ass off and understand everything. But when it's time to go, let's just say, to the grave, there's really nothing there. You're not going to be able to take any of this. And, that made me think a lot. Not saying that I'm diverting away from any of this, but, I just wanted to share that. Like, you have to kind of understand the balance between life and having a good time, finding a job that actually, and I know this is difficult, finding a job that actually appreciates you or not stressing you out. I think most importantly, not stressing you out or giving you a hard time about these little things, which becomes like micro things that, even management is micromanaging certain things. I honestly don't think it's worth it. So I know when you're younger and when something is new, it's fresh, it's more exciting. But, as time goes on and you're doing cybersecurity, I can assure you, cybersecurity, there really depends. I would say a small percentage, it's probably maybe interesting. For the most part, it's a lot of technical jargon, policies, and paperwork and following orders. It's not really ad hoc, right? Unless you're a hacker trying to steal something, or developing software to really uh, take down the world or something. Even then, I don't find that to be. I would probably find that to be pretty stressful. Not that I know, guys. I'm just thinking about that. Imagine like the biggest hacker in the world, and they have this group, and it's probably stressful. Like they have to align everything perfectly, just like how a professional in the industry, an ethical one, has to align everything perfectly to make sure to evade all that, right? So that's my rant for today. I hope that this made some sense to some of you, that you know uh, as much as I'm studying, spending all this time studying, at the end of the day, just make sure that you know why you're doing it. And if you do know, please tell me. Comment below, let me know. And I want to thank you guys and appreciate everyone that's been here. Still going on. So thank you, and I'll see you guys again really soon. Take care.